If you want non-emergency medical assistance from a virtual health experts, go to howtogetridofhealthissues.com/mobile doctor. They have a team of mobile doctors is standing by around the clock so you can stop any health issue quickly and effectively. Mental Disorders Decoded, the science of building unshakable resilience and mental grit by Daily Health Habit Adjuster.
March 15th, 2019, 3:47 a.m. A hospital psychiatric ward. The fluorescent lights hum. A man sits on the edge of a hospital bed, hands trembling. His name is Marcus. 6 hours ago, he tried to end his life. Not because he was weak, but because his mind had convinced him the pain would never stop. He was diagnosed with treatment-resistant depression. Therapy hadn't worked. 3 medications failed. But in those first 48 hours of hospitalization, a psychiatrist named Sarah Chen walked into his room and said something radical. Your brain isn't broken, it's defensive. And that same defensiveness, when you understand it, becomes your greatest strength. Marcus didn't believe her. But 7 years later, he has built something most people never achieve: real, tested under fire resilience. And the science of how he did it will change how you think about your own mind. It begins with one hidden truth. Mental disorders aren't character flaws. They're your nervous system running an outdated survival program. And once you understand the program, you can begin to rewrite it. When we talk about serious mental disorders like treatment-resistant depression, bipolar disorder, or complex PTSD, we're talking about conditions that fundamentally alter how the brain processes reality. The nervous system gets stuck in a threat detection mode it can't turn off. For decades, the story ended there. But here's what neuroscience discovered that changes everything. Your brain is not fixed. The physical connections between your neurons are constantly reorganizing. This is called neuroplasticity. Every thought you have, every action you take, literally rewires your brain. For someone like Marcus, this was radical. It meant the neural patterns that created the disorder could be disrupted and replaced, not through positive thinking, but through deliberate, repeated practice that activates new pathways until they become stronger than the old ones. This leads to the second truth. Resilience isn't born, it's built. But it's not about bouncing back to where you were before. After severe trauma or mental illness, you don't go back. You move forward differently. Real resilience is acknowledging reality, not denying it. It's integrating the experience, not suppressing it. Researchers at Yale studied Navy SEALs, Holocaust survivors, and people who recovered from severe mental illness. They found 3 non-negotiable pillars of mental grit. First, meaning-making. The brain needs a reason. Without it, suffering is just noise. With it, suffering becomes data you're collecting for a purpose. Marcus recovered not by trying to be happy, but by deciding his survival story would one day help others. That decision rewired his brain's response to pain. Second, cognitive flexibility. When the brain is in survival mode, it thinks in black and white. I'm okay or I'm destroyed. The antidote is the ability to hold multiple truths at once. I feel overwhelmed and I have resources. This is hard and I've survived hard things before. That word, and, tells the brain's alarm system to stand down from all-out panic. Third, social connection, but not just any connection. It's witnessed connection. Someone seeing you, understanding you, and choosing to stay present without trying to fix you. For Marcus, it was a therapist who just sat with him for 30 minutes a day. That repeated experience of being seen literally lowered his brain's threat reactivity. Which brings us to the final truth. The worst mental disorders can become your catalyst. Not despite the struggle, but because of it. Grit isn't personality, it's a learnable practice. For Marcus, this became a daily protocol. 10 minutes of meditation to rewire attention, 20 minutes of movement to regulate his nervous system, and 5 minutes of journaling to process emotional data. None of these actions were heroic. All of them were consistent. Over months, these practices became automatic. The brain had reorganized around them. The struggle didn't disappear, but his capacity to meet it grew exponentially. His brain was no longer just defensive, it was strong. And that is the promise of neuroscience. Not a life without pain, but the unshakable knowledge that you have the tools to build a mind that can withstand the fire.
Thank you for the information. We will take from here as Mental Disorders Decoded, the science of building unshakable resilience and mental grit by Daily Health Habit Adjuster. Act 3, the Building Protocol, the 4-phase system for building resilience. Here are the 4 phases that guide the building of resilience. Phase 1, stabilization, weeks 1 through 4. Goal, stop the bleeding, get the nervous system out of crisis mode. For someone in acute mental health crisis, medical stabilization, medication, and hospitalization if necessary. Sleep restoration, because sleep deprivation amplifies mental health symptoms dramatically. Physical safety, remove access to means of harm. Routine establishment, meals at the same time, sleep at the same time, small walks. The brain in crisis cannot think strategically. It can only survive. These actions tell your nervous system, you're safe, the threat is contained. Phase 2, integration, weeks 4 through 12. Goal, begin processing what happened without being overwhelmed by it. Cognitive processing, therapy work to understand the narrative of what happened. Somatic work, body-based practices like yoga, EMDR, and breath work to regulate the nervous system. Social reconnection, a gradual, supported re-entry to relationships, meaning exploration, asking why this happened and what you want your life to mean. During this phase, the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, can engage. You move from crisis response to active recovery. Phase 3, skill building, months 3 through 9. Goal, develop new neural pathways that contradict old patterns. If depression taught your brain that nothing matters, you now practice different habits. Identifying micro moments of meaning. Gratitude journaling. It may sound cliché, but it literally rewires the brain's attention system. Contributing to others. Shifting from self-focused suffering to purpose-focused action. If trauma taught your brain that the world is dangerous, you now practice different steps. Gradual exposure to safety cues. Social activation. Being with people who embody safety. Boundary setting. Learning to distinguish safe from unsafe. Remember, if you ever need to sell your house fast, as it is condition anywhere in the U.S., either to stop foreclosure, avoid county tax auction, unwanted property, or too many repairs, go to boracina.com/DHHA or call them at 877-658-8303 for no obligation cash offer and get a relief under house burden.
Sometime there is a simple way on how to relieve or get a treatment for the problem. Naturally from an ebook, How to Get Rid of Health Issues, Quickly Without Medication. It's the step-by-step guide you can use right from your kitchen to reclaim your health naturally by someone who's been there. If you're tired of being told medication is your only option, this could change everything for you. Your body has an incredible ability to heal itself while you sleep when you give it the right ingredient. That is available at local grocery store, or you can order them online. Visit howtogetridofhealthissues.com to get your step-by-step guide today.
These practices are boring and repetitive. That's exactly why they work. Neuroplasticity requires consistent activation of new pathways. Phase 4, resilience consolidation. Months 9 and beyond. Goal, make the new patterns automatic and create lasting change. At this stage, identity shift. The person says, I'm someone who takes care of my mental health because it matters. Mastery experiences. They've succeeded enough to have evidence they can handle difficulty. Meaning integration. Their suffering is part of their story, not all of it. Relapse prevention. They know warning signs and have a protocol to activate support before crisis hits. Marcus reached this phase after about 2 years of consistent work. He still has depressive episodes, but the difference is they don't terrify him. He knows how to navigate them. His brain has learned that difficulty is survivable. Revelation number 3, the paradox of acceptance. Here's something that sounds backwards but is neurobiologically true. Acceptance of the mental disorder is what makes recovery possible. This doesn't mean accepting that you'll suffer forever. It means accepting, I have a brain that is prone to depression, not, I am a depressed person. Anxiety is my nervous system doing its job, even if it's over-responding. Not, something is fundamentally wrong with me. I need support and treatment. And that's a sign of wisdom, not weakness. The moment someone stops fighting reality and starts working with their neurobiology, everything changes. Dr. Stephen Hayes calls this acceptance and commitment therapy. The research shows it's as effective as medication for many conditions. Where he is now.
It's 2026. 7 years after that hospital bed. Marcus is a therapist. He specializes in treatment-resistant depression. He works with people in the depths of what he survived. He still meditates daily. He still moves his body. He still journals. He still goes to therapy. These aren't optional. They're not extras. They're his mental health medicine. But here's what matters. He doesn't resent these practices. They're not things he has to do. They're things he gets to do because they keep him alive and connected to meaning. His brain didn't become fixed. His brain became trained, like an athlete, like a musician, like anyone who's developed a skill. He built resilience not by denying his disorder, by accepting it, understanding it, and organizing his life around managing it. And every person he works with, he tells them the same thing Dr. Chen told him 7 years ago. Your brain isn't broken. It's defensive. And that same defensiveness, when you understand it, becomes your greatest strength. Appa.
The Return to the Beginning, March 15, 2019, 3:47 a.m. A man on the edge of a hospital bed, trembling. He had no idea that the worst night of his life was the beginning of a journey toward real strength, not the fantasy strength of positive thinking. Real strength, built neuron by neuron, practice by practice, day by day, your move. If you're struggling with a mental disorder, here's what I want you to know. Recovery is possible, not because you're special, because your brain can change. Start small. Find meaning. Why does your life matter? Build connection. Reach out to one person. Create routine. One small thing. Done daily. Seek help, therapy, medication, both, whatever your neurobiology needs. And then repeat, over and over, until the new patterns become as natural as the old ones. That's not positive thinking. That's neuroscience. That's resilience. Remember, your health is your wealth. Take care of it now, so it can take of you later. As Daily Health Habit Adjuster, make it simple as
your wish is my command.